tribe, are you doing this? Are you doing this type of thinking habit? Listen up really quick, and we'll get into this. Is you tell yourself, you could be telling yourself out loud, you could be secretly talking to yourself. Well, when I finally get my dream house, I'll finally be happy. When I finally get this car, I'll finally be happy. When I finally get this job or this career over here, I'll finally be happy. Finally be happy doing what I want to do. Okay? Even in my experience right here in Jump right now, even with YouTube, I could be telling myself, well, this is a great, I'm by the beach, it's a great background. My YouTube channel's gonna go viral now because when I sit down and make videos, I got terrific backgrounds. You know what I mean? Your mind tells your mind, or you tell yourself these things like, when I do this, finally my life is gonna get better. Do you do that? Okay, and you might not do the specific examples I gave you, but do you do it? Like, just in a different way. You understand? Because I think that this is one of the greatest drawbacks to manifesting. When you finally think about manifesting a success, being that most successful version of you, this is the terrible habit, the terrible drawback that we really have. This is one of the greatest things that's holding us back. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today, tribe. And happy, I got my coffee here. This is a coffee talk, but it's early morning. I am in Job GN. I'm Chad, by the way, just in case you're new here. Welcome to Live Life on Your Terms. And let's talk about this for a second. And what kind of made me think about this is because the example I gave you about YouTube, that's something, I was telling myself up in Surin, okay, when we lived up in Surin in a Thai village. And, the Thai village, it's, all around you, there's poverty. Even Ing's house, it's more darker. So it doesn't have great lighting. So when I do videos, the lighting's not perfect. Sometimes the scenery's ugly no matter where I go. So it's easy for me to tell myself, well, when I go to a better place, when I go live in a better area, when I go live by the beach, finally my videos are gonna outperform. Finally, my videos are gonna just skyrocket because I'm gonna have terrific sceneries. You know what I mean? That's the greatest drawback, because what you have to understand with manifesting, guys, it's one with many ways that make this confusing. Manifesting is a mirror, okay? Your reality is just mirroring you from how you feel inside. But what I really want to talk to you about, it's what you say, it's what you state. You understand? Because you have the power to state how you want things to go. But you're contradicting it because you're also telling yourself, well, if I get this over here, my business will explode. If I do this over here, I'll finally be happy. You understand? So it's what you say. If I sit there and say with YouTube, if I sit there and say things like, good morning. If I sit there and say things like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter where I film. It doesn't matter if I'm at home. It doesn't matter if I'm in Surin. It doesn't matter if I film videos on the toilet. Everybody's going to understand them. I'm going to talk it simple, okay? I'm the best teacher of manifesting. It doesn't matter. Sorry, my brain kind of got lost there. Someone's like walking by, and then he's like looking at me the whole time. I'm like, he's looking at me the whole time like, what are you doing? I never saw a camera. Look. You understand? That's what you have to understand with what you want in manifesting. It's what you say is what you're getting. Okay, so that's the contradiction. It's what you say is what you're getting. Now, either you're saying it out loud and you're sticking to it, or it's your deep-rooted feelings. It's the secret you. Okay, it's what you're murmuring and complaining about. It's what you're secretly telling yourself is what's coming to you. Okay, so that's what you have to be aware of, my friends. Is what are you saying? What are you telling yourself? Okay, even for myself, I know I keep on bringing up YouTube, but it's something I became really aware of. Is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter where I film the videos. It doesn't matter if I'm in the ugliest place right now. Okay, my videos are gonna go viral. People's gonna get a lot out of the videos because the videos isn't about the scenery, it's the information. Okay, it doesn't matter if I film on the toilet. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter if I'm in a poverty type village. It doesn't matter. My video is gonna go popular. My video is gonna go viral. Everybody's gonna get something out of it because I'm teaching you to get you results. Okay, I'm telling you the truth. Okay, it doesn't matter. That's how manifesting works. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's what you tell yourself. It's what you flip and say. You like that karate chop right there? Okay, and you got to be self-aware enough. Is are you contradicting that? You know, if I sit there and tell myself it doesn't matter where I'm at with YouTube. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I film. I could be filming this and it's pitch black. It doesn't matter. But then that contradicting state, that secret me, those secret thoughts that we have might be telling you something different. Might be sitting there and say, oh no, you gotta, YouTube's all about quality. You gotta go someplace where it looks, you're talking about manifesting a success and you're sitting in a beat up house over here, Thai house. You gotta go somewhere that you look rich. You understand, your mind will play with you. Or maybe you have other people tell you that. Well, Chad, you know, people don't want to see you sitting in a broken up room. People want to see you out there living in $1 million house or more than that. They want to see things. They want to see what you're doing. All that is contradicting what you're telling yourself, what you're saying. This is what I'm doing. This is how it's going to go. Okay. Because I'm the controller of my life. I'm the controller of the universe. That's the power that God gave me. Okay. It's what we say. Okay. And what we have to understand is all this is true. Like when you finally realize, when you finally become aware enough that, good morning, Aang's over there walking around. When you finally become aware enough, almost like lost my train of thought there. I was like getting ready to tell you something important. Aang's like walking by. When you finally become aware enough that you can see yourself drifting. You can see yourself drifting over. Maybe you're listening to somebody. Maybe you're a type of person that I can fall in this trap where you're the type of person that you're run to people to ask for advice. Okay, like what should I do? What do you think about this? Okay, now AI is super big. So now a lot of these people's making AI videos like ask ChatGPT this, ask Claude this. Well, the issue with that is ChatGPT or Claude doesn't know what's best for you. Okay, listen, only you know what's best for you. You understand? You just have to take confidence in it. You have to take confidence in making your own decisions and sticking to it. Okay, that this is kind of like part 2 of the video. That's what I was going to tell you before Aang walked by. You have to be confident in what you say. You got to be confident in your decisions that you're making. And, stop jumping to people, trying to figure out what they would do. Okay. Or you're jumping over to AI if you love AI. Listen, guys, if you have a habit of jumping to people, you got to be really self-aware of this. Is if you use ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, you jump over, you start asking ChatGPT, or you start creating prompts like from everything you know about me. Okay, Now, what would make my YouTube channel go viral? Everything you know about me, okay, how can I get manifesting to work for me? Okay, it's the same thing going to 10 of your friends. A computer or a robot, AI, doesn't know what's best for you. Only you know what's best for you. Only your intuition knows what's best for you because source, God is inside of you. Okay. But you have to be confident in, listen, now I know I sound like a robot. I'm talking the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay. You have to be confident in your decisions. You have to be confident in what you want. And then you got to deny, choose, be. You know, it's literally you stating exactly what you want. You're stating exactly how you want something to go. And if your 3D world doesn't show that, you deny it. That's what deny choose be is. You deny it. You don't pay attention to it. You come over here and say, no, I said this. I said, boom, boom. We're doing this. This is what we're doing. Okay. You got to get, if you struggle kind of like I do um, with this kind of habit, because one, I have high functioning autism. Okay. And, you know, I'm an empath. So, like when you have high functioning, that just means you're neurodivergent, you're atypical. Lots of times, like you can get obsessed with things. Okay, sometimes for me, it's always been around work, you know, YouTube stuff like that. Now that could be a good, you know, of course that's a good obsession. Okay, some people, listen, guys, some people with high functioning, they got obsessed with the wrong things. They get obsessed with drugs and alcohol. You understand? So, I mean, even my nephew who has high functioning, he went down that road a little bit where he's obsessed with drugs and alcohol. Okay? Because the obsession is real. It's just you controlling what you're obsessed with. But with that, you know, it is lots of times with high functioning and you're kind of mixing an empath in there is you might not be super confident. You might be passive. You might not be super confident in your own decisions, meaning that you're going to always feel that need to talk to other people. Okay. Or if you use AI for your business, and I fell in this trap too, where you're going to feel always that need. What does ChatGPT think? You understand? Rather than you coming back to your source, and you're saying, no, it's what I want. Get that notification off there. Like I gotta feel free. I gotta feel dominant in my own self. Okay. I gotta feel like I make the best decisions for my life and I stick to my decisions in my life. Okay. What I say has to go and I ignore everything else. I ignore everything around me. Okay, that's then I choose B. You ignore it. And even if you got to restate it for yourself to motivate yourself, no, I said this. I said, and I'll give you with YouTube, I said it doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter where I live. It doesn't matter. I could do flipping videos on the toilet. I could do flipping videos in the dark. And people's going to get something on my videos. I'm going to help people. I'm going to help a million people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I live by the beach or live in a Thai village. It doesn't matter. And you might not have my examples, but it's similar. You understand? Most people do this. Okay? That's why decision making is so big. That's why sometimes it sounds boring. You know, make little decisions and stick to them. Because what's happening is you're getting more confident with yourself that, hey, I can make a decision and I stick to it. You get more confident. It's training your subconscious mind that you stick to what you say. Listen, you actually get what you say. Okay. So you're not wishy-washy all over the place. You understand, my friends? And even like with high functioning with myself, lots of times, like one of the traits that like with high functioning can have is like Like the person can be like wishy-washy a little bit. Like, well, I mean, that's a kind of like slang, like, like they don't know what they want. You know, they almost need somebody to tell them what to do. You know what I mean? Then they'll do it. Like, you know, then as an adult, as a grown adult, like you finally start learning, like, hey, you know, I got to make decisions myself. I got to be comfortable making decisions on my own, and be confident in that. And it's what I say. Okay. I know I kind of drifted off, but I just kind of want to share those things. It all ties together, you know, depending upon who's listening and stuff like that. Um, but it's just something I kind of been thinking here, like we're up in Pattaya in the Pratanak area, and the reason why I was kind of thinking about this is because this might be a separate video, is because like we've been in this area for a week. We're like been looking for a place like every day. We've been waking up at 7 a.m., going out, looking around every single day for a place for the dogs. You know what I mean? We have 3 dogs, and you know, we can't find a place. They won't take dogs, or they take one dog. You know, the places we find is like you're living really out of the city, like almost in a tight ghetto. So we're obviously saying no. So, you know, Aang and I talked yesterday, like either while we're here, we just completely let it go because we've been kind of working really hard at it. Completely just let it go, let it be. And we talked about, hey, you know what? You know, we might have to go back. We might have to go back to Surin. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Okay. Just because our dog, like several things are happening. Our dogs are back there. Um, we were paying Aang's cousin for the first like 4 days. Then Aang's dad said that no, stop paying him. You know, I can do it. I can handle it. Now Aang's dad is 71, but Aang's dad like took care of the dogs for 2 or 3 days. Then he finally called Aang and kind of told her he can't do it. You know what I mean? So we're a little bit worried about the dogs. Uh, the only one he can't handle is Lucky. That's the male. That's the brown dog. Like I mean, sometimes I call him Kangaroo Jack because he has kangaroo legs because dude, he can flip and jump. He can jump high. So what he's doing is like we have around the house. There's a cement wall around the house. Well, he can jump that cement wall. He jumps on it like a kangaroo. He jumps on it and grabs it with his front legs on the top. Then he jumps over it. Uh, but it's rice season right now, so a lot of Thai are planting rice, and when they plant rice, not every land does it, but they spray the fields, they spray the rice. So Aang's dad is kind of afraid Lucky's going to get into it, and if he gets into it, it can kill him. You know what I mean? If they, that's how harsh the spray is when they spray land, they spray vegetables and stuff like that. If you get into it while they're spraying, it can cause major damage. Keeping it kind of PG for YouTube. But anyway, like that's a whole nother thing that's kind of came up since we've been here. Like that Aang's like, once we found a place, Aang was going to go back. Then her dad already was like, her dad's not really very talkative, but her dad when Aang said she's going to come back, because she has to get his medicine, pick up the dogs. If we find a place, bring the dogs here. And he's already like, when? What day? What day are you coming back? Because he can't handle Lucky. He can handle Lick and Money because they stay, they don't jump. But Lucky's kind of getting in that bad habit of once you let him out, he's running and jumping the wall. But again, like just this last night, we were kind of hitting roadblocks with finding places, and we talked about like, hey, maybe we just have to go back. You know what I mean? I mean, go back, kind of regroup. Maybe this was just kind of a little getaway for us because we both were kind of stressed. You know what I mean? And life is always happening for you. Life isn't happening to you, and and treat it like that. That's why I started thinking about it. That's why I thought about this video, because I fell in that trap. Like part of me, I missed the puppies. I mean, it's almost like they were a human, but we had them since they were teeny tiny. I missed the puppies, and I even like looked at like money, not money, Lucky, if I can get the name right. And I'm looking at when we left over here. I'm looking at him. He's holding him. Like he could sense it. He could sense that we were leaving. Dogs are funny like that. And I looked at him. I took his little face. He has a big face, but not that little. He's not that. And I was like, no. It's like, don't worry. I'm coming back for you. I'm coming back for you. Sounds funny, but I told Aang that. It's like, we can't abandon them. We can't just, get a place and leave them up there. Thai don't really take care of them like we would do back in the States. Next thing you know, they're just running around as a street dog on the streets. So, hey, we might we might have to go back up in Surin. But it's still the same thing. That's when I noticed it. Is like I wasn't saying out loud, but I was secretly thinking, oh, well, this is such a good area. There's so many places to film. There's so much perfect lighting. I could film on the beach, not every video, of course, but, there's so many just great places. And I caught myself, and as we wrap up this video, I caught myself, and this is what you should be doing too. You catch yourself, and you say, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm at. You understand? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the situation, it doesn't matter the environment, it doesn't matter where I'm at. Okay, what I said I was going to do can happen right at this place right now in Surin. Okay? It's just like with anything. It's just like if you tell yourself, I'll be happy if I do this. It doesn't matter. Be happy now. You understand? Be happy now. Be abundant now. Be successful now. Okay? It's a dangerous trap when you start thinking that, oh, when I do this over here, I'm going to be happy. Because once you get that, you start noticing you're not happy. You understand? It's about learning to be happy now, be abundant now. Where you are right now, you can have everything. You know what I mean? And that's what you focus on. That's what you tell yourself. You ignore everything outside of you, what's going on. You ignore conversations. You might ignore friends. They might be telling you something different. You ignore it. And you just trust what you want. That's how this stuff works. And sometimes even for me, like I said, I can sway, I can drift. You know what I mean? But when you sway, when you drift, you become aware and you push yourself back. No, I said this. This is what we're going to do. This is what I meant. And you deny choose B. Okay? And everything in life is happening for you. Okay, that's another thing. I'm gonna share a lot of stuff with you here. I don't care if you're sticking around. You're sticking around. Okay, these are separate video topics, but oh well. Okay, I feel like sitting here chatting. That's another thing. Ing and we talked about it yesterday. Is when we first came down here, we figured we're gonna find a place in 1 or 2 days. So we basically had everything planned. Find a place in 1 or 2, 3 days. We'll go back up this past weekend. We had a mover already to basically pick up our stuff, pick up the pups, and come back down. Of course, that didn't happen. And we start thinking like, okay, what's going on? We can't find a place. Or, are we pushing it? Are we forcing it? Are we pushing and forcing too much? Are we not like letting it go? Okay, and that's the big thing, is being able to With anything, let it go and let it be. You understand, my friends? Like when you really start feeling that there's friction there, and you're trying to force the outcome, then you're kind of, as you start forcing it, you're moving forward, then the thing you want keeps on moving farther away from you. And since there's two of us, you know what I mean? Like we both, in our own way, we're tired of Surin. You know what I mean? And so we started like pushing the outcome, and I don't know, like what life is happening for you, even with this situation, is is maybe, you know, this was just like a little getaway, a little vacation getaway to make us readjust, to rethink. You know what I mean? Like it made me. I had a friend down here that came to Thailand, so that you know we've been hanging around. So it kind of made me like, even if we have to go back up to Surin, you know, we both of us, Ang and I, we both were on just not great routines. Okay. And as far as work wise, I was on a great routine. I was pretty much like a workaholic there. Didn't do anything else besides work. Um, Ang was kind of the same way, and we both brought it up together. Like we both were kind of like, okay, if we got to go back up to Surin, we got to change. We got to change the routine. Okay, we gotta at least like 1 to 3 times a week. We got to go up to Surin City, which is about 30 kilometers away, like 30 minutes. You know, we got to purposely go up there. We got to go up there and shop at Big C, go to the mall, go do things, not kind of sit there and think, ah, no, it's too far away. You know what I mean? You kind of get in that rut a little bit. Uh, so maybe it was that. Like, you don't really know. That's why life is happening for you. You don't really know. Maybe this trip was kind of like that. It made you see. You understand? It made both of us see. Okay, that's that's why I say life isn't happening to you just to defeat you. Life is happening for you, for your benefit. Either to teach you something, for you to see something. You know what I mean? But that's what we talked about. Is just, you know, hey, if we go up, you know, we go back to Surin because our dogs are up there, and of course the dogs will be happy when they see us. They might jump out the window, but is change up our routine. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, 1 or 2 times a week we get up for the morning market. The morning market in Surin that opens early. It opens at 4 a.m. But you pretty much have to be there between like 4 and 5:30, something like that. Even if you go at 6, 6:30, 7, you know, a lot of places are already closing down. So if you really want to go there, um, but in a village like that, you have to go to the morning market like that. If you don't go to the morning market, when you go to buy food in the evening, it's double the price. You understand? So even, you know, Ang and I noticed that just with village life, that okay, we got to get up at, which I'm already up at that time. Secretly, it's really Ang, the sleepyhead. But you know, once or twice a week, you got to get up and go to the morning market. Okay, once a week, we got to drive up the Big C, go to Big C. Okay, that takes us to the city. Okay, but I'm thinking about going to the city, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. Go up there. Like I've never even really even. This is bad. We've been up there for a year and a half. I've never really, even if for long, I've never really even went up to the city and explored Surin City. And I've been there for a year and a half. You understand? Like, I mean, it just made me see that. Like, I could go up to the city and film. I could, you know, like, even though it's out of my way a little bit, but I could still drive and explore the city. And it's like, oh, this is a great area to film, do a video. You know what I mean? Same way I would do here. You understand? Like if I wasn't going to, you know, sit in a condo or sit in a house or sit in a townhouse and do a video, I would be walking around exploring and just like I'm doing right now, you know? But maybe this information helps you out. Because listen, guys, it's easy to, like my mind will drift back and forth. It's like a battle back and forth. There's little two Chads sitting on my shoulder. Like one's evil and one's good. You understand? Like, and they're both whispering in my ear. Like, do this, no, do that, no, do this, no, do that. And what I mean by that is when life is happening for you, you're having a little battle in your mind there for a little bit. At first I felt like when we came here, I was like, dude, this was a waste of time. This is a waste of $1,000, to come here. All we did was just run around and hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And when it was so easy to come here, it was so easy to come here. It's so easy to, everything was just like working out. Then we come here and just hit like a brick wall. You understand? That's what I mean. It's easy for your mind to go that direction rather than you're steering it. You have to steer it. You have to stop it. You have to say, no, life is happening for me, for my benefit. There's something for me to learn here. Okay. And it's going back to our talk. It's what I say. Boom, boom, boom. And ignore the outside. But anyway, tribe, Mike is like getting twisted up. I can still talk. I didn't turn it off, but have to be. Sometimes, like with these mics, you have to put them on outside because sometimes, like these little adapters right here, they get on your skin. Then, if your skin's sweaty, sweat starts getting in them, and then they have trouble charging. So that's why you always see the mics outside of me, not inside, because I can't. It's too hot here to wear an inside shirt. So, or if you watch other people's videos in Thailand, that's why lots of times they're holding them up here, or if there's a guest, they're holding them. They're not attached to their shirt or inside, just because you're sweating, and you might not look like you're sweating on camera, but you're sweating, so that way the sweat don't ruin them. Just a little bit of like knowledge there. But anyway, tribe, just wanted to share that stuff with you. That's kind of what's been on my mind and stuff like that. And if you have questions on this, comment below or chat it up in the comments and stuff like that. If you need help with this, check out the description. That's where all the nuggets are. There's a lot of nuggets in there. I always try my best to keep the descriptions up to date, even if I change things, have new things, have new products or whatever. A lot of them are free. Some of them, being transparent, some of them are not free. But usually I keep all my descriptions. If I change it, I update every single video. So check that out. Check out the description. Other than that, remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.